back, everyone, to the BNC. I'm your host here, as always, Alexis, and I am joined here by Peter Martinez. And we're going to do a season review, spoilers, spoiler alert, on Stranger Things, which is the new Netflix series that is really taking off in a big way.
This is the best use, I would say, of nostalgia I've seen maybe in years. They sort of reel you in with it, but then they hook you in with the great story, the great characters, the great acting. They really sell you on the story itself alone. It's very, very 80s. You follow a group of young preteen kids.
There's a secret experiment happening at Hawkins Laboratory, which is in the back of this town where this show takes place at. Something happens, it rips a hole in space and time, a monster comes out through it.
Hearing me try to explain it and then you try to explain it, it's really hard to explain because it follows like 3 or 4 different groups with each different storylines. They do like converge at the end.
It's one story.
It's one story, but you're following multiple people. What pulled me in was definitely the kid actors. They're not annoying, they're funny.
On their own, they're great.
Yeah.
Together, they make up this dynamic that you're invested in from the very beginning.
They were never idiots. They made decisions that a kid would make. They're not stupid, but they're not always the best decisions. They really gravitated towards each other because of their friendships with each other and just their relationship with Elle.
Yes, 11. She is obviously a very tortured soul. She was used for experimentations, and she has special abilities that these people are after, obviously.
There's a lot of places you could have gone wrong with it. She's not used to anything else. Yeah. You could have gotten like too dumb with that, too gimmicky, but you also wanted her to feel like a regular human kid. You can connect with her. She was great. Like when she was in pain, she really sold it. She doesn't have a lot of lines, so she has to do a lot of her acting with her emotions, and she did a really good job for like a 12-year-old little girl. She was great. She's definitely, I think, the heart of the whole series. My biggest thing was like, okay, what happens with her? You know, where does she end up?
For sure she's dead, definitively?
I don't think so.
She just disappeared with that creature.
The cop, Hopper, he willingly goes with the government, and then it cuts a month later, and he takes all this food, and he takes a big thing of waffles. And he puts it in that box in the woods. I really, really feel like they're leaving a door open to say she's alive. Maybe they banished her to the
other realm, the upside down place.
The upside down place. Yeah, I was trying to remember how they said it. I doubt if they have a season 2 that they're not gonna bring her back. Another good thing that this show does really well is they subvert tropes. You have the cop that like, oh, he doesn't believe anything. The kids try to tell him, you know, something's going on, and then he's just like, oh, dumb kids. And then at the end, he doesn't until he realizes. But here, from the beginning, he's like, he's not dumb. He investigates. He realizes
sees things,
very quickly, infiltrates the government hideout, looking for the kid, sneaks into the morgue to check out. He's like, I'm not just gonna buy this. If this was a regular sort of 80s film, that sort of thing,
that would have not have happened.
He's like, the case is closed, kid. You know, move on. But no, and then at the end, when they delved more into his backstory about seeing his daughter die, whenever you see in shows, once they start doing that, you're like, that character's dead. That doesn't happen, and that's kind of cool.
When Joyce got the lights and how Will was talking to him,
that was really
hole
genius.
In the wall, that was great. The whole conception of this upside down place, brilliant.
And it's funny because early on, like, they already showed the monster. They were showing a lot of things. Like within the second episode, they showed the upside down place, and I was like, I kind of feel like they're giving me too much too early, you know. Like, but then no, they didn't, because they always had something to really take you on another twist or turn.
And then even at the end, there are still things that they tease in the next season that we still don't know.
We still don't know what's going on.
On that monster, was it only just that one?
There was only one. At first, I had assumed there was multiple, but by the end, they made it very clear there was only one. And I had read an article earlier today that said, like, if they do have a season 2, which they all but confirmed, like, Netflix basically said, we'd be crazy if we didn't. But it's not confirmed yet. They will. That's something they kind of wanted to get into.
When they went to go get Will, he had this leech thing in his mouth, and then and then when he came back, he threw it up and then went through the pipeline in the sink.
It showed him like sort of like going in and out of the upside down world. It's gonna be very interesting. The other storyline that we covered, Nancy
and Jonathan, which is Will's older brother, and then of course there is Steve, the stereotypical 80s boyfriend.
At first, I was like, I don't
need this.
I don't need this. In the first 2 episodes, it kind of made me angry. because it's just like stupid teenage girl going with the wrong guy. And
but by the end of it, she's a badass.
You see her change over time. My biggest thing was like, I don't want the typical 80s assholes. Like, I don't want her with him. I don't want her with him. And it was making me mad. By the end, I'm glad she ended up with him. I don't want like a 3-way triangle. I want her to stay with him. I think he really earned his place as Steve, with her. Of course,
Jonathan, though, he was always the better person from the beginning.
But I like that, but it sort of reflects real life. Sometimes it doesn't end up like that. And I like that. Sometimes the girl that you like, she's not with an asshole.
But you don't think in the back of her mind she's thinking.
Oh, yeah. They left it a little open, but I kind of hope they explore it more of a friendship. What really sold it for me at the end, when he felt bad about what he had done, he didn't go to her to try to get her back. He went to Jonathan's house to apologize to him.
They turned his character around at the very last minute. I thought he was gonna get killed off by that thing.
I thought that too. I thought he was gonna come in like, what's going on? I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't like a little bit cheered for that, especially at the end when she gives him the present of the camera and he asks her like, did you give
it to him?
He's not an asshole. He is a caring person. For someone like me who at the beginning like really did not care for it and didn't want to see it, to the end like really happy with it, that's really great.
The acting is phenomenal on almost every level.
We didn't even mention the best actress in this. I feel
Winona
Ryder. She could have come off really bad. This is another thing that's just like a mother that's whining and crying the whole time, especially over the course of like 8 hours watching this. You could get tired of it really quick. She's funny, she's determined, she wants her son, and she does everything she can, like with the whole the lights, and she isn't dumb. She isn't like, oh, I guess I'm going crazy. She's like, no, I know what I saw.
Yeah.
And she works to try to get her son back. That was ingenious to me, writing the letters and then putting the lights right there.
The creature, the noise they had for him, the sound effect, that
was creepy. My biggest issue, and again, this is a small issue, when they would rely on CGI quite a bit for the creature and it didn't look the best. I really love how sort of their inside jokes and the way they foreshadow things. Like in the very first episode, what's that monster called?
I don't know. Demogorgon?
Demogorgon, yeah. See,
really?
You got
Was it?
Yeah, it's the Demogorgon.
Got it right.
When they were first playing, they're like, oh, you get the Demogorgon's there, and they were rolling to see if they would survive it. And the kid, before he leaves, he's like, oh, the dice was a 6. The Demogorgon got me. The next scene, the Demogorgon gets him. And then at the very end, when they're playing again and they're finished, and they're like, they defeated the Demogorgon like they did in the show, and they're like, wait, that's it? And he's like, what do you mean that's it? That's 10 hours. And they're like, yeah, but there's so many plot threads they didn't get through. The mystery of the flowers and this and that and this and that. And he's like, ridiculous. That was fine for 10 hours. And they're kind of talking about the show. The music is great.
It captured the feeling of the show perfect.
It's very, very John Carpenter. You could tell they ripped it straight from him.
And it feels and sounds 80s.
Yeah.
It's just encapsulated and insulates the show into this whole theme and tone that is irresistible.
This is how you do homage, nostalgia.
Make sure to watch Stranger Things on Netflix. Thank you for watching this review of Stranger Things. Thanks to Peter. Thanks to Alexis. Catch you back next in the place of all things movie news and reviews. Bye-bye.